So welcome to Docwob TV. This is an episode where we're bringing you up to speed with what we're up to. This is my HRC TLM260 1990 model. I am particularly proud of this one because this came to us as a basket case. Motor's completely stripped. I mean, we were building this blind. Just hopefully, you can't even find pictures of these things. They're that rare. So it's hard to find, hard to build. I'm pretty chuffed with how it's come out. So what's cool about this TLM is it was built from HRC out of necessity. They got beat a couple of years, didn't like it. So they came back to fight the Spanish and the Italians with this, which was basically the forerunner of the modern trials bike, really. So this one-piece tank and seat unit, the little tank underneath, the three-piece, basically it's all the forerunner of the 4RT and all the other stuff that came after that. Which is why this is so rare. They were only designated for HRC riders and the Japanese market, so they didn't even get sold in Europe, I don't think. The import-export thing wasn't anywhere near like it is now. If that was to happen today, people would get their hands on them straight away. Now, back in the 90s, you didn't buy anything from elsewhere, you just couldn't do it. So, you know, when you actually look around, this HRC stamped on the pipe and the silence, it's the trickiest thing. The trouble with trick is getting parts. This is an absolute nightmare. Now, luckily, I found a couple of people who were 3D printing a couple of bits and pieces. And even though it was in a basket case, the bike wasn't in bad shape. It just took a lot to bring it back. We had to get Ollie to say, okay, the cases, blast everything. It was an absolute mission, I'm not going to lie. I can only work on this thing for 2 or 3 hours before I'm frustrated, because you can only get so far before you're throwing somewhere up the wall, because you need hands like a 5-year-old with strength like Hulk Hogan to work on the thing. It's awful. But everything fits in so nicely. Everything is so well engineered, as HRC bikes are. There's still a couple of little bits and pieces I'd like to locate, like a rear disc guard maybe. But I am over the moon with how it's come out. It's, again, we've done the same thing. We've built it too nice to ride. So this is the tank cover. Had it painted, a couple of little cracks, got repaired. Wasn't the cheapest job I've ever had done. Cost me £300 to get it painted, but it does look $1 million. I even sent the rear fender to get colour matched, because matching plastic's a bitch. The good thing about this is these factory. The bike's a factory bike anyway, but this was like the team issue with the vents. So that's pretty cool. So we've got some new stickers, should be here by now. But Jake at Spiral has done them. He sent me pictures, they look cool. So by the time you see this thing at Telford, it should be finished, ready to go. Don't know what we're going to do with it. We're just going to sell it. You're going to ride it. Is Danny going to destroy it on the rocks with that twin shock class? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But if anybody wants it, it's for sale. Because I got a wife who likes expensive shoes. It's all held on with 2 bolts and a little rubber strap under the tank. But it looks pretty cool. So we've used some really flush-headed bolts on the side of the fender and on the tank mount, just so you don't catch your boot on them. The rest of it's all pretty standard motocross fitment, titanium. There's a few bolts we've had to get made. Engine mount bolts are really strange size. We've had to get them made, but we've got an engineer on site and he's modified some stuff, which we've got. The bolts on up here and down there. The seat and tank unit, which have had the stickers made from Spiral, the seat comes with that, so we'll prise it off, re-glue it onto here. It's like blue colour. Then the graphics like a blue stripe down there, and the multicoloured pink and blue. It's pretty ugly. if you're into your 90s stuff, it's just the right colour. So that's what we'll have come Telford. And then we're going to be deciding what to do with the thing. So as pretty as this is, it ain't a showpiece. It's a bike you can go and ride. You can go do Scottish 6 days if you so desired. The only downside is the parts. Like I've said before, they're horrendously expensive. One of those rear fenders, if you can find one, 300 quid. And it's only one mistake and it's smashed. Strangely enough, the front fender you can buy. Weird, £120 with the brace. But if you had an off and did a silencer and a subframe, or you could easily be looking at £1,000's worth of bits if you can find them. That's the trouble. It's not just you can pick up the phone and buy them. That stuff ain't about. Like I say, these weren't imported. There's a handful of them in the country, enthusiasts who relish and cherish them, which is so you should. But whether we let Danny smash it up.
I have been due a crash, in all fairness, and beautiful. Listen to that singing.
Or whether we just have it on display. Don't know. What should we do? This thing is so ahead of its time. Like the swing arm is ever so similar to the modern 4RT, the 315 that came years and years after. The linkage is slightly different. The linkage is top mounted on the swing arm basically to get it out of the dirt and stuff. The more modern one is a lot smaller and underneath. So that is advancements. But, you know, HRC were really pushing forward with this stuff. The bike is ahead of its time, really. I don't think it looks old for 35 years old, which is retarded, really, how old it is. I just can't wait to get the graphics on it and have it finished. And so the brakes on this are really cool. It was so air-cooled, monoshock, discs front and rear. It was new at its time. Front mass cylinder on the production trials bike, we had like a mount for a mirror, and it was a bit goofy looking, if I'm honest. The factory riders back in the day, Narita, used to run like a motocross front mass cylinder, which is exactly what we've done. So this is a part off a CR500, believe it or not, with a big long lever. The feel's unbelievable, so that should stop, not a problem. It's a production caliper, but we've blasted it and rebuilt it, new seals, new pistons. Strangely enough, all that's available because it's just a diameter of a piston. It's not hard to find. So that was a touch, we got those. Clutch perch is a billet, factory Suzuki motocross one, but it just looks cool, just fits, just looks right. So we're doing the best we can. Like I say, we anodized a few bits and pieces, anodized the shock reservoir, looks cool, put tie bolts in, the hose, safety wired them all up, all the bullshit. It just looks cool, and it makes it even more fiddlier than it should be, really. Cerakote the ignition cover, the factory bronze, left the clutch cover the same colour as the rest of the motor, which is a silver Cerakote, dull, not too shiny finish. Powder coated the frame. That was hard to find that colour. It's not a standard off the shelf colour, so we had to get that special order, not to buy. I got enough to do about 40 frames if you know anybody else wants to do it. But and then, like I say, the bolts were mostly standardy sizes. A few of the engine mount bolts we had to cut down a little bit, but it's just quite a long M10 bolt in the back. And what's weird is the swing arm doesn't go through the back of the engine. The bolt doesn't go through the back of the engine. It's separate. The swing arm is the width of the frame, and the motor bolts on above and below, which is quite weird, but it is what it is. So another one which caused me about 3 hours of stress, clutch cable route. Before the pipe went on, the clutch cable just came down and into the clutch. It felt fine. Put the pipe on, I'm like, oh, that ain't going to work. So then the clutch cable has got this metal locator guide, I guess. And I'm like, well, it's got to go down and cross there. Then it was sitting on top of the pipe. It's going to get burned. I'm like, it ain't going to work. So I'm enough messing with that. I'm messing with something else. And Mark, my engineer, came in and he's helping me make a spacer, I think, for the RM. And we're looking at it. He gives it, poke it through that hole. I'm like, fuck off. Never in a million years. And that's where it's supposed to go. So it goes down underneath the manifold, out the other side, into the clutch, and feels nice. Who knew? Well, not me, because I didn't take it apart, but we're figuring it out as we go. So this whole back end, there's a lot to this. Stupid stuff like the stand. I mean, it's just a stand. But to make it so it feels like new, there's no play in it. You got to play everything. You got to powder coat it. You got to re-engineer the thing. Basically, it's all right. It's what we do. Rear brake carrier. If I'd have known putting it together what we'd done before we took it apart, I'd have cut this back piece off because it doesn't do anything. All it does is make the brake pads near impossible to fit. So that just turns into a big job. But it's on there now. It's anodized up to look like a factory one. We've got the drilled billet spacers, the Kawasaki bolts. Another little thing. These, as you can imagine, are next to impossible to get. CR85, my friend. Same part. So there you go. I've discovered that. So they're CR85 ones. Billet clevis pin. Most expensive tyres on the market, but apparently that's what you need. Still breaks my heart paying 120 quid for a tyre. Aluminium nut, just all titanium hardware, just every bit of tie we could get our hands on is on this bike. We haven't done the axles because that would be horrendously expensive. So this owes enough money as it is. There's still a couple more bits and pieces to wire. I don't know if I've got the patience to do that one yet, but I will do before the show. So come and have a look, tell me what you think. These things are cool, even down to the cast lightweight holes in the hub, just the way the spokes are straight pull. It is just cool. Can't say any more than that, really. Engineers over here. Where's my coffee anyway?
I don't know. I thought you would be coming.
No. So while we're talking about bolts and HRC bikes, this, believe it or not, is the front wheel axle bolt from a 2025 COF 450 actually, but I think the 250 is the same. If I told you that was out of a CB 400 1976, you'd believe me. It's not the most pleasant thing, but then again, who am I to question? So anyway, so we went ahead and same thread, same size, went ahead and made a titanium version with a nice square hole, safety wire holes, but we also, while we're at it, made an aluminium version. Now I know we carry on about nuts and bolts. If I show you the weight differences, so the titanium is basically half the weight of steel, 42 grams, titanium, aluminium. The difference is that is unsprung weight. So anything below the springs is unsprung weight. Big difference, big difference. So you got to cut as much as you can. On an average motocross bike, there's 220, 230 bolts. So if you can imagine taking every bolt out of your bike and weighing it, and by fitting titanium, it's half the weight. And, you know, we're the only guys doing proper kits that fit, that come labelled up with everything they've got to go to. We're not just making Mickey stuff, it's all made, custom made to order. Like I say, we've got two different options just for that one thing. The difference is unbelievable. I'm just showing you we're making an effort, really. So that's it for this Kickstart edition of the show.
さあ、注目の成田選手。さあ、綺麗に入りました。
どっちの角度から入るか。
さあ、どうだ。すごい乗り方をしました。
I know it's not for everybody, but it is for me. And if you appreciate bikes that are an absolute bastard to build, there it is. So there you go. So that's that one. Next time I'll show you the Pichon bike. I'm waiting on an ignition cover, a pipe, a tank. I don't know if they're going to be here or not. I'll show you what we've done. We've done a lot to that. Hey?
BMXTN tickets.
Oh yeah. Don't forget, like and subscribe, all that business. It really helps. Like I say, we're 2 years into this, and now the numbers really do matter. Also, while you're on, tickets available VMXDN Fox Hill and Farley Vets MX. Proper two-stroke events, proper good time. We've made the tickets on the day at Fox Hill to be a little bit more money than the prepaid because we need to know numbers for toilets, security, bins, hospitality, all that stuff. We need to know how many people are coming, which is why we push for pre-sales. So it's important that we get those. Sponsors are all back on board. We've got loads of people interested. There's some really big names coming. We've already got Chris Porcel. We're talking to a few other really big names. We're building a new bike for Tommy Searle. So that'll be a feature we'll be running. But there is some really big names in the pipeline. So trust me, that's going to be a barnstormer. We got a bit unlucky last year with the weather, but we still had some good racing. So some new names, new stuff. We're building a couple of new bikes. We're going to run 3 of the YAMs from last year, and we're going to build 2 more new ones. So that's all going to be me done. So the summer's not going to be destroyed like it has been in the past. So there you go. That's the events coming on. Come and see us at Telford. Come and say hello. This will be finished. I'll have the stickers on eventually. And this epoxy dent might be gone. We'll see if it bothers me anymore. But that's it. We'll be doing Telford, then we'll be head down, arse up, just to get bikes finished. I have got an American trip planned, so I'm going to see if I can pull some strings and get us behind some scenes and get some videos. So I'll see if I can get us into the HEP workshops, the Phoenix Honda workshops. We're going to post circuit again, but you've seen that one. And I'll see if I can get us into KTM. We'll see. But I'll take my camera with me, and wherever I go, you'll see.